What's up, YouTube? It is your boy Killer Cam. Will be killing it. Welcome back to the Killer Squad. So today, man, we got Tom Holland's new symbiote suit. Before we get into this video on Killer Squad, I want to say I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a couple of days. I just got grounded and I got my tablet taken away, but I got my tablet back, so now we can upload. So let's get right into it, man.
What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. And today we have a really big treat when it comes to Spider-Man, and not just Spider-Man
Right.
No Way Home, but the future of Spider-Man. For those of you who are unaware, Marvel Studios and Sony have officially announced that there is going to be another Spider-Man trilogy. We are indeed going to be getting 3 new Spider-Man films. So the next Spider-Man film with Tom Holland is going to be Spider-Man 4. Now,
Right.
what could these new films be about? Well, we actually have a pretty good idea of what Spider-Man 4 is going to be about, and today we kind of got a little sneak peek into that.
Right.
It involves Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the Venom symbiote suit. So let's dive into it, but if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't
See,
miss out
hold on,
on
wait,
any-
guys. I gotta have a quick question. They kind of waited too late to give Tom Holland his symbiote. Like he should just got it in Spider-Man No Way Home though.
Any of the latest MCU and Spider-Man videos. Now, spoiler warning if you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, or if you don't know about its post-credit scene and the ending of the film, we are going to be talking about some major spoilers. Now, the news that there is going to be more Spider-Man films with Tom Holland's Peter Parker isn't that big of a surprise if you've seen the
Right.
ending of Spider-Man No Way Home. We have a Peter Parker who is kind of finally actually Peter Parker in the MCU. He's
Right.
now finally all on his own. He has his own crappy apartment like Spider-Man typically does. He's got his new suit and he's going off to college. At least that's what the ending led us to believe when we saw that he had a GED book. Since everybody forgot who he was, he's not going to be able to graduate high school like a normal teenager. He's going to have to get his GED if he wants to go to college, and since we saw the book, we know that that's what he's going to do.
Right,
So the
right.
next 3 Spider-Man films are going to show Peter Parker in college, or at least show him trying to get into college. But besides that, what Spider-Man No Way Home told us in the post-credit scene is that
Right.
at some point in time, Peter Parker is going to come in contact with the Venom symbiote. And right now, we can all
Oh.
assume that this is going to be what happens.
Yeah, my money.
Bro, I'm so sick of these ads on here. I'm so sick of these.
Symbiote. And right now, we can all assume that this is going to be what happens in Spider-Man 4 since it was set up in the
Right.
latest Spider-Man film. They wouldn't really tease that unless it was going to be the next thing that happens to Peter Parker, our Peter Parker. And again, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige did confirm this, and he confirmed that there are indeed going to be more Spider-Man films with Tom Holland because he said he didn't want the fans to panic like what happened after Spider-Man Far From Home, where there was a lot of confusion on whether or not Spider-Man was going to remain in the MCU or not. So he
Right.
told us that to give us some clarity. Yes, Spider-Man is staying in the MCU. Yes, there are going to be more films with Tom Holland. And today we actually have some official
Oh.
concept art of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the Venom symbiote.
That's
and it looks
nice.
freaking sick. This was created by
Yo, this is
Thomas
sweet.
Newcrest, and he did concept art for Spider-Man No Way Home. So this is official concept art, and you have to wonder if they actually planned for him to wear the symbiote in No Way Home at some point in time, maybe an early draft of a script. But regardless, we know that Tom is going to be wearing the symbiote suit in the next film, so it looks like this is our first look. And as you can
Yo.
see here, it looks pretty dang good. I
It
think when Tom
does.
Holland finally wears the symbiote suit, we're going to have a Spider-Man and Venom film like no
Dude,
other.
this is
Because
sick.
Venom and Spider-Man wearing the Venom symbiote are 2 very different beings. Venom, of course, is very big, he's very huge, he's very violent, whereas Peter Parker is essentially still Spider-Man, just with kind of enhanced abilities. And yes, he can get violent and he gets irritated, and the symbiote kind of does affect him, obviously, but his stature pretty much remains the same. So it's going to be very different than what we've seen with Sony and their Venom with Tom Hardy and Eddie Brock. And
Right.
as you can see here, this looks pretty dang good. Honestly, this is probably the best I've seen the Venom symbiote before. I think it looks a lot better than Venom. Granted, Granted, it's just concept art, but I still think it looks a lot better. And we even have the
Right.
Spider-Man symbol on the front, something we've been missing from Venom. But the fact that
Right.
Marvel Studios is going to have a piece of the Venom symbiote bond with Spider-Man in the MCU means we can do the actual origin story of Venom, where he bonds with Peter Parker, Peter eventually rejects him, and Venom goes on to find Eddie Brock and seeks pretty much vengeance or revenge or whatever you want to call it on Peter Parker for the rest of his life. He
Right.
hates Peter Parker, so him and Eddie fight him, which is what we've all been waiting to see. Now, as far as Venom in the Sony universe with
Right.
Tom Hardy, we are still going to be getting a third Venom film. However,
Right.
based off of what I've heard and based off of how Spider-Man No Way Home's post-credit scene left off, it's looking like Venom isn't going to be fighting our Spider-Man, not going to be fighting Tom Holland. It looks like after Spider-Man No Way Home, there seems to be a clear division between the universes, between the MCU and the Sony Spider-Man universe. And this is where all of the talk of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man coming into the Sony universe is coming into the community. So for those of you who are fans of Tom Hardy's Venom and Eddie Brock and want more from that film, of course we are still getting Venom 3. And based off of everything that we've heard from Tom Hardy, it is going to
See, but I think it'd be better off if Tom Holland and Tom Hardy's Venom had a fight.
be a film where he goes up against Spider-Man, probably going up against another villain as well eventually, but
Right.
Tom Hardy has made it pretty clear that he wants Venom 3 to be Venom and Spider-Man together. And lately this is lining up with all of the talks and reports that Andrew Garfield is not done as Spider-Man. He came back as his own Spider-Man in Spider-Man No Way Home, and he absolutely crushed the role. He was perfect in the film. And I think he got redemption here. He got redemption for his The Amazing Spider-Man movies, not only with the fans, but for himself, really. And I think even before his awesome performance, Sony had decided that they want him as their Spider-Man in their separate Spider-Man universe. Now, of course, this is not confirmed at this time, but there have been a lot of reports from insiders like Daniel RBK and My Time to Shine Hello, stating that Andrew Garfield is coming back not for just one more project, but multiple projects down the road. Now, hopefully at some point in time, he comes back in contact with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU, but in the meantime, we're thinking that he could be the main Spider-Man for the Sony universe. They have a lot of movies coming out like Kraven the Hunter, Morbius, in which we do know that Spider-Man is at least in pictures in that film. Olivia Wilde is doing a Spider-Woman movie, and it just makes sense that there would be another Spider-Man in the Sony universe because so much is revolving around Spider-Man. Which
Right.
means Tom Holland will indeed get his own Venom Symbiote Spider-Man movie. And I'm sure it's
Right.
going to be a lot better than Spider-Man 3. I love Tobey Maguire, he's my favorite Spider-Man, but a lot of people really don't like Spider-Man 3. So I
See,
think
that's the problem right there is I really enjoy Spider-Man 3 from Toby. I think it wasn't even that bad.
this film, Spider-Man 4, with Tom Holland wearing the Venom symbiote suit, is going
Right.
to get fans really, really excited. And there are really kind of limitless possibilities for this film. However, I do think we are going to get back to a more grounded Spider-Man since Doctor Strange no longer knows who he is. Happy doesn't know who he is. We can assume that the other Avengers don't know who he is. So he's on his own now. And I think that because of this fact, I think we're going to be getting back to more of a true Spider-Man feel with the movies with Tom Holland in his next trilogy. But let me know what you think about Tom Holland wearing the Venom symbiote suit. Let me know if you like it, if you don't like it, and what do you think the plot should be for the next Spider-Man film where Tom Holland gets the symbiote? Who do you think the villain should be, or should they just
Venom.
do a Eddie Brock Venom symbiote against Spider-Man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU and Spider-Man videos. For live updates, you can always follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Hey man, let me know what you think of my reaction down below. Killer Squad. Peace.